I think we're live. Yeah, we're live. All right, let's see here. Gym Records books. So I want to show you guys a new book I'm reading as well. But let's see here. And if I get any questions, of course, I will do it at the end of the video. So, hope you're all doing well. I got the orange beanie on today. Doing the powerful orange, right? We want those bright colors, don't we? So, new book. Let's see here. This is it. All right, New Great Depression. So, I will be ordering this book probably tonight. I'm going to read it, and then I will report back to you guys about it. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of Jim Rickards. You can go to YouTube. That's probably the best place to find Jim Rickards videos. Anyways, he's basically just like a macroeconomic expert. He talks a lot about China, how the economy works. He makes a lot of predictions with like cycles. And this is his new book, which is about what, obviously the title is pretty self-describing, right? The New Great Depression, okay? So he's talking about how the lockdowns and the current debt status of our markets and things like that, that basically we're going to enter a Great Depression, okay, which I'm of the opinion as well, okay. Whether that ends up being true or not, I don't have a crystal ball, but in my opinion, I agree with the premise of this book, even though I haven't read it yet. I can basically tell what it's going to be about, right? And I would agree with that, okay. Printing a bunch of money is not a solution to the problems that we face as a country. Even if COVID was as bad as they say it is, which is not, there's no solution to the damage that's already been done, I think, from the lockdowns. And I think it's gonna be a difficult year. I really do. Well, let me just make sure the stream's okay and everything. Yeah. Looks like the stream's good and everything. But yeah, I think it's going to be a difficult year, to say the least. And I think it's important, self-education is important, right? Self-development is important. And if we can find books and YouTube videos, all these sort of sources that can help us paint a picture of what we're going to enter, that's an important thing, right? Trying to predict the future is always, I think, an important thing. And I think a lot of people, especially nowadays, are open to it. Just the concept of trying to pay attention to what's going on. Of course, we can't predict the future with like certainty, but we can make educated guesses, especially with something like economics. Economics is somewhat subjective, but it's not nearly as subjective as some people think it is, right? There is such thing as like economic law. It's the same. A lot of economics is the same thing as 1 + 1 = 2, right? Now, not all components of it, but economics in general is much more scientific and law-based than people realize. They don't realize that because they haven't studied things like Austrian economics and things like that, or like the wealth of nations, or how money works. Most people have a very limited understanding. And money, to a certain extent, is also kind of esoteric. Because, money, what it represents at its core is just me sending you value for like a good or service, right? And so it's a little bit esoteric, I would say. Historically, gold and silver have been money. I'm also a fan of cryptocurrencies. And so, there's some reasons why gold has always been money, right? Because it's scarce and it's, it doesn't rust, and it could be, mined and all those sort of things. But it's important to be aware of what's going on. And when it comes to my money, I always try to make rational decisions and try to predict where things are going. We can make predictions that we can see how many small businesses have gone bankrupt from the lockdowns. We can see how much money they've printed. We can see, some of the states of the banking system, including the Federal Reserve. We can look at the economic data. There's a lot of data out there. And we can look at it and we can try to make educated guesses about where this is all going. Okay? The money printing is not going to stop anytime soon. So 30% of all U.S. dollars printed were printed just this year. So the history of the whole American country, America, as much money as has ever been printed, 30% of it, of the money ever printed, was printed this year. So, and that's not going to stop anytime soon. I don't see that slowing down with the Biden administration. They're going to want to give everyone more stimulus. They're going to want to pay people the lockdowns. They're going to want to pay people to stay home. They're going to pass massive stimulus because that's the only thing they know how to do is just more and more stimulus. And I expect more and more inflation. Now, whether in the context of a larger economic depression, there could also be deflation. But the main thing is that the money printing isn't going to stop, even if there's net inflation with people's like rents coming due and like people paying down debt and things like that. And that inflation, the money printing is going to have to find a home no matter what, even if there is broader economic deflation. Okay, so far it's just only finding a home in assets. So basically, the economy is destroyed, and stock market is at all-time highs. Okay, so we know that assets are going up in value regardless of the economy. Okay, to have a stock market hitting all-time highs while many of the states are still under lockdown, and UK's gone into lockdown till March. Other places in Europe have gone into lockdown. The fact that the stock markets are at all-time highs is absolute insanity. Okay, it's absolute insanity, and you have to realize that it's insanity. Okay, but one of the people that I follow is Gregory Mannarino. He says, "Let them play their game, and we will play ours." Okay, let them print all that money. Okay, we're gonna take that money. We're gonna buy gold with it. We're gonna buy silver with it. We're gonna build a business with it. Okay, we're going to buy cryptocurrencies with it. And they can continue to print all the money they want, and then they can play their game because that's the only game they know how to play. And then we will play our game, okay? And we will reap the benefits of all that money printing, okay? We will reap the benefits of it, okay? But it's important that we educate ourselves and understand what's going on, okay? So let's do some technical analysis. Do we have any questions? I don't think it. Viewers anyway. I don't usually catch many people live. All right, so let's go to the charts. So one thing I was looking at with Bitcoin, and a lot of people admittedly were looking at, is a sort of inverse head and shoulders. So we were looking at the left shoulder. This is the head. And then we're forming the right shoulder, okay? And then if we broke this support right here, I would say if we broke like 31,000 area. But really with this higher low right here, I was going to say if we broke 32,000, then we'd be in danger of the head and shoulders confirming and maybe drop down to like, who knows, 20,000, 22,000. But so far, Bitcoin has broken this 4-hour equilibrium bullish, okay? And there's just no sign of the bulls stopping, in my opinion. So you may be wondering if I've taken any crypto profits lately. No, the answer is no, I have not. I probably won't sell any until Bitcoin breaks $100,000 personally. If other like random coins go up a lot, I might sell some. But we can see this 4-hour Q. We see we had the low here. Let's put on our magnet. We had a high at about 36,500, another higher low, and then we had another lower high right about here. Let's see here. Oops. Forgot my hotkeys. I thought it was this one. Oh well. That's the wrong one. Is it Alt-C? Oh well. But anyways, right here we had another lower high at 35,000, and then we can see we tightened up here, and then this 4-hour equilibrium broke bullish. So now we'll play the zoom out game, like Dan the charting man, Dan likes to say, and we'll be looking for a daily lower high. But bulls are still in full control. Dip got bought, and it made a higher low. So it's kind of crazy how fast Bitcoin's been going up, but I don't see personally any signs of it stopping. I think there's just so much money trying to flood in. It's just, it's like trying to put an elephant into a hot tub right now. It's just that, started with Michael Saylor, and a lot of these corporations now are just, they're buying Bitcoin for their balance sheets, and Federal Reserve is printing a bunch of money. Interest rates are at 0%. So if corporations are figuring out, hey, I can borrow money basically 0% and I can just buy Bitcoin with it, I'm going to do that all day, every day. And there's just so much money that has to flood in, and trillions and trillions has to flood into this market, in my opinion. And that includes gold and silver. So let's go to gold and silver. You may or may not know, I mean, gold hasn't been doing much, but the chart's still really healthy. Let's zoom out to the weekly. We'll look at the long. We can see we had a dip here, then it quickly got bought back, and then we had a little double top here at 1965. But if we zoom out to the monthly, this is a fine chart. We want to hold this, though. If 1764 breaks, that's a sign for a longer-term gold consolidation. But in my opinion, this will... It's hard to see Bitcoin moving like it is in the stock market and gold not to start to reap the benefits soon, just as a macro sort of opinion. But I do think they're suppressing gold and silver right now. And we're seeing the cryptos move up because, honestly, the cryptos are quite a bit harder to manipulate. Okay, it's just the nature of their being decentralized. It's just harder to control their price action for the powers that be, in my opinion. Silver, very similar chart, and we're tightening up. We'll zoom into the weekly. So silver actually performed a little better from the bottom, but we see we had a double low right here about, it held $22 or $22 area, I should say, as support. And we can see historically, if we zoom out to the monthly on the silver, we can see that was a massive zone, a confluence basically in silver. Okay, this is the monthly chart. So how many times has silver reacted to this level, which is about $22, $21? Okay, we can see it back here in 2000. That's way back in the day, 2008. So that's the financial crisis, where it followed the stock market down basically before its moonshot. We can see silver reacted to that zone right here. Also reacted to it, then it broke bullish. Then we can see here it bounced off of it how many times? 1, 2, but it reacted to that area multiple times. And then we can see here that we basically back tested it. Okay, we see reacted to it here again. So you can see how many times silver has reacted to this area. And the fact that silver broke through this area early in the year, and then now it's back tested it, and now it's held monthly exponential support, is bullish. I think silver, I predict, okay, I'm going to make a prediction. This is not financial advice, but I'm going to go on a limb. I'm going to say silver hits an all-time high by end of March. Okay, so let's see, how many candles do we have left? February 1, 2. Yeah, we'll see. I'm going to say by the end of March, silver will be at an all-time high. But I don't know. We'll see. So far, it's still tightening. But I think we're going to see some big silver candles soonish. But silver is one of those things, it's probably, when it breaks, they're going to suppress it till the end. A lot of the banking system is derived around manipulating the price of gold and silver. And silver, if silver gets out of control for them, the banking system, in my opinion, will start experiencing severe issues. So they're going to manipulate it till the end. But we'll see. I think silver is going to start breaking its manipulation. Or it could, just tighten up here on the monthly for quite a bit longer. It could do something like this. Yeah, and then it doesn't move until the summer or something like that. But in my opinion, I think it's going to start impulsing because I think the market conditions are just ripe for it. Okay, so Ethereum, similar chart to Bitcoin. It actually hadn't formed another daily higher low since $700. And so this Ethereum chart is super bullish. And you can see, look at this wick, just all got bought. Populous settled around, it's a healthy chart. We can see on the weekly how it's back tested this weekly support, and their platform went live. I tinkered around with it a little bit. Let's see, where can you visit the Populous platform? Right here. Do I like Hex? I free claimed my Bitcoin for Hex, so I didn't actually buy any Hex, but Hex is outperforming basically every other coin, and there's no signs of it stopping. So, do I like Hex long term? No, because it doesn't make sense to me from a long term standpoint. Because it's not a blockchain that you can mine, so I don't think it has like real inherent value. Like you can stake it, but it's also not like a staking network. And I don't think that the way it's built, I don't understand how it can have value long term because no work's being done, really. It's like just having a smart contract that's designed to pump doesn't make sense to me naturally. I could be wrong. And so far it's outperformed everything. I don't really think it's a scam, but to me, I do like to make long-term investments, and long-term to me, it just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. With proof of work coins, at least, there's mining taking action, so energy is being harvested to make the coin valuable, you could argue. But with Hex, it's not even a proof of stake blockchain. There's proof of stake blockchains like Cardano and things like that. Theta is proof of stake. So proof of stake can work too. But just having a more or less a proof of stake smart contract on top of Ethereum, and there's no, and you think of it like stocks in a company, like you have basically equity in the company, and then there's people doing work for you, right? So when you buy like Microsoft stock, more or less the stock is just a translation of how much work is being done by the Microsoft corporation with its employees and its investments and its intellectual property and all the value of the entire company, right? And the work being done by its employees. Hex doesn't have that either, so it's not like a company that you're buying shares in. I guess you could say you're buying shares in the protocol, and as the protocol gets used more, that's the value that you're accruing. But long term, that just doesn't really. I think Hex will fail long term. But if you want to buy it for this bull cycle, I don't know if it's not the worst idea I've ever heard. Personally, I haven't bought any. If I had bought some at the bottom, it's up like 200x, so obviously I should have. I do know people personally that have, and they've made a lot of money off of Hex, and it's been super worth it. And as long as you take profits, like you can trade scams, as long as you take profit, right? If you get your initial investment out when it doubles, and then ride it the rest of the way, there's no harm, no foul, right? But personally, long term, I don't really like Hex, and I've only free claimed my Bitcoin, which is worth like nothing. I got like 4,500 Hex, I think, because I didn't understand the game theory, so I think I basically claimed my Bitcoin at the wrong time. I think I claimed my Bitcoin at like the bottom, like the worst time to do it, or the top, I should say. So I have like 4,500 Hex. I think Hex is worth a penny. So it might be. Is that $450? Because if Hex was $1, it'd be 40. No, I have like $45 worth. Hey, maybe. You never know. I'm going to hold on to it. Hold on to my $50 worth. Hex hits $1. Hex could hit more than $1. I think $1 is only 100x from here. It's already done a 200x, I think. So, yeah. But no, I'm not a big fan of Hex. Yes, Litecoin is definitely underperformed Bitcoin. So if you look at the Litecoin Bitcoin chart, let's see. Oh, fucking BitPay. No one even uses. Okay, let's try. Almost got tricked again. Gotta go with Coinbase. Yeah, this is a bearish chart for sure. And there's no signs of it. We're hoping for a double bottom here. This is Litecoin versus Bitcoin around 3.6. And zoom in. There is a giant falling wedge that hopefully that if we want Litecoin to break out versus Bitcoin, we need to see it break out of this wedge. Okay. And it is getting tighter, but we really need Litecoin to hold around here versus Bitcoin. But the Litecoin chart, all these altcoin charts are bullish versus the dollar, obviously. Like, this is a super bullish chart. It's just underperforming compared to Bitcoin. It's just because, like I said, the big money wants Bitcoin. When you talk to these billionaires, they don't care about the other altcoins. They just have a ton of money, and Bitcoin's the most common one, and it has most of the liquidity, and it's the most well recognized, and they're not really trying to get a lot of money. When these giant corporations buy crypto, they just want exposure to an uncorrelated asset, basically. Okay, so when Michael Saylor buys another $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, he's not trying to get like 100x. And so the risk reward is not worth it to these billionaires and corporations to buy a lot of these altcoins yet. And honestly, they can't even buy a lot of them because there's not enough liquidity, right? Bitcoin just has all the liquidity. Not all the liquidity, but has the most. Eventually, this will flip, and the altcoins, I think Litecoin will start to outperform again. It's just we'll start early in the cycle. But yeah, Bitcoin, there's no sign of Bitcoin slowing down right now. And lately, let's look at dominance. So this is the dominance chart. What we want to see is it topping out here. So historically, it has topped out in this area. Right at about 73. It's topped out here, and it's topping out in that region as well. Not 73, 72. Just in that region, okay? So yeah, we want to see it reject from here, and then hopefully we'll get alt season, okay? And a lot of these alts will start to outperform. Let's do Pillar. That's another cliff high shitcoin. It's still in its wedge. I think it'll wake back down. But a lot of these old coins, actually, you could say that it's back testing it to a certain extent. The body's outside the wedge. We really want to see Pillar hold here. Populous chart is definitely more bullish than Pillar for now, though. Ocean's another coin that I have. Nice wick. But yeah, it should start to follow the other alts. But we'll see. But yeah, Bitcoin's still the safest bet, you guys. And the big money is going to keep chasing Bitcoin, And now they're starting to also buy Ethereum. But Ethereum's like, only like 10%. A lot of the billionaires that I hear talk, they're doing like 90% Bitcoin at least. Just because, again, they just want an uncorrelated asset. They don't care too much about trying to get like a 1000x or like anything like that. Okay, Bitcoin Cash. Let's see here. Bitcoin Cash is also underperformed versus Bitcoin, but dollar chart is, of course, bullish. This is a great daily chart. We see it on the weekly as well. I still think that Bitcoin Cash could be starting to go parabolic. So we can see on the weekly, it was that long-term wedge that we were watching, or at least I was watching. But we can see this. Let's do a trend line, actually. So if we started here, we can see this is this long-term wedge. And we can see it broke out of it, okay, and then also back-tested it. And it's going more and more parabolic. You can see it was on this trend line long-term, bounced off of it a couple times, then moved up, then we were restricting this trend line, and now that it broke back out of it retested the wedge and broke bullish, now it's on this trend line. So we can see it's going more and more parabolic. So I'm still super bullish on Bitcoin Cash. We want to see alt season soon. We want to see dominance start to drop. But fundamentally, I love Bitcoin Cash. I think Bitcoin Cash is super undervalued just because it gets a lot of bad press. But Bitcoin Cash is a very advanced coin in a lot of ways. It has new opcodes. It can do a lot of stuff that Ethereum can even do. You can send tokens on Bitcoin Cash. A lot of people don't realize that. If you're familiar with crypto and you've seen gas fees, on Ethereum, they've skyrocketed. So it's costing people routinely like $20 just to send some tokens on Ethereum. And a lot of the use cases are disappearing. Well, they have US dollar tokens on Bitcoin Cash. You can send Tether, you can send USDC, what is it called? USDH on Bitcoin Cash. And I think there might be a couple others now as well. But yeah, you can send tokens on Bitcoin Cash, and it costs like a penny. You can send like $1 million worth of USD on Bitcoin Cash for like a penny. And so there's a lot of use cases like micro tipping and stuff. So I still think Bitcoin Cash is undervalued. And Bitcoin Cash as it is with no upgrades, it can handle all the transactions of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin combined. And, there's a Grayscale trust. So some big money is buying Bitcoin Cash. You can go, there's a Grayscale trust where basically for retail investors through the stock market, it's basically a stock. and then people are buying exposure to cryptocurrencies, and they have Bitcoin, they have Ethereum, they have Litecoin, they have Bitcoin Cash, and I think they have Ripple, and maybe a couple others. And I think they have Tezos. But this Grayscale the Grayscale Trust, it also has Bitcoin Cash. Okay, PayPal also has Bitcoin Cash. It's one of the big four on PayPal now. So PayPal has Litecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Bitcoin Cash. And it has a little bit of unit bias. You know, a lot of newbies, when they come in the market, they just see Bitcoin Cash on PayPal, and they're like, "Oh, that's a cheaper Bitcoin. I want a whole Bitcoin, so I can buy this Bitcoin for $500 instead of buying a whole Bitcoin for $40,000." You know, there's a little bit of unit bias. I think that will occur with Bitcoin Cash as well. But yeah, so far it's the same as Litecoin. It's under we can look at the Bitcoin. Actually, this is better. Bitcoin Cash right now is stronger versus Bitcoin than Litecoin. So I would say Bitcoin Cash is actually stronger, but you can see on this weekly chart, there's a lot of work to do. This has just been an ugly, ugly chart for Bitcoin Cash versus Bitcoin. Ugly, ugly chart. Okay. And it's because it's like I said, the big money right now, they want Bitcoin. They don't want Bitcoin Cash as much. You know, a lot of them understand that Bitcoin Cash is cheaper, but there's more liquidity with Bitcoin, and the other reasons that I said. You know, they don't really care too much about. They just want the biggest coin. Okay, they just want to hedge against the U.S. dollar. You know, and a lot of these corporations are only buying like 1 to 10% of their balance sheets into Bitcoin. So they might have like $100 million on their balance sheet, or like money they need to use, but they're only buying like $1 million worth of Bitcoin. So it's still not that much. And they just want exposure to the big dog. And then, interesting, the Veritasium chart. There's not been a lot of updates. Reggie Middleton did get a patent with Japan, and I haven't sold my Veritasium, but Veritasium actually flipped bullish on the weekly, which is interesting. I don't know who's buying Veritasium. I mean, you can't even use the token for anything right now. So they're just speculating on something like Reggie's announcements, I guess. But we can see, look, it broke its equilibrium. It set a higher low on the weekly. We got a cross of the exponentials volume spike as well. So it's a bullish chart on the weekly. Not gonna lie. So yeah, Populous DeFi went kind of live. It doesn't really let you do anything right now. There's no invoices or anything like that. But I will check back in a week or two, and I'll play around with it for you guys if I find anything. But well, hopefully Populous starts to build out their product, right? We want to see invoices. We want to see things getting built out on it. You know, we'll see. We will see. But that's all I got for you guys. I'll report back on this book. Self-education, very important. I'll check back and let you guys know if I play around with Populous DeFi at all. And then, yeah, keep doing what you're doing. I think a little bit of rough times are coming, especially financially. You know, have a plan. Okay. So let's see if we have any more live chats. Just talking about Hex. Okay, well, that's about it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. All right, bye.